Hey guys, welcome back to the second NRL Fantasy Fanatics video of 2025. We'll be going over the best players to look at per position for every price. Take us away, Charlie.
So we got the overview here. We're just focusing on the best players, top three players in every position. So we got a gun, mid-range, and cheapies in every position, and then we'll just highlight them in slides, and you can see what's going on. So that's what we got today. Pretty
Yeah,
simple stuff.
the very first gun in the wing fullback position is Latrell Mitchell, 800k. What are your thoughts on Latrell Mitchell?
Um, I think he is the most expensive fullback, but you're paying for what you get. Like he will, I think he's going to have a better year this year, and because Wayne Bennett gets the best out of everyone, so I think you could expect him to average 60 or more. To be honest, 60 or 65, and his ceiling is massive. Like he could score 100 in a game because he's just a beast. So
Yeah, he can definitely
you pay
average
for
anywhere from 55 to 65. I think for him, he
mm,
looks really skinny too, and I do see that
yeah,
I do see them improving this year, which means that he'll just get more goals. Goal like kicking points. So I think it's all positives for Troll going on. Being the most expensive player is a little bit worrying in the wing fullback position, but I think he'll do a very good job.
yeah.
So going on the mid range
So
of
mid range, yeah,
five.
we got Pappenhausen, 530k. I think he's extremely good for money value wise. 530k, he's a cracking player. So he's electric. He's quick as line break central. But the only concern is his early buy. He's got one around two. But I treat a buy as a good way to loop players, so I don't think it's really a concern. He's in my team, and I think if you want a mid range, he's probably a man.
Well, I think with there being so many like relevant Storm players, like if you go
Mm,
with like a Grant and a Howarth and a Munster, I'm doing all three. Going for Pappenhausen two
yeah,
makes you just probably like you'll be a bit too light that week on the thing. So I don't think you can go with That's why I just don't think you can really go off Pappenhausen and those other three. And I also do think that if he gets back to what he can do, he can average 50 to 55. But I also think that he can very easily get average 35 and have a couple injuries because he is known for getting injured.
yeah. If he can stay fit, then he's real good. So let's just see how he goes. All right. So Isaiah Longy, our cheapy wing fullback, 350k is insane value for an Eels starting fullback after Gutherson's left. He should slot straight in there, and he's got money making potential as you can see down there. Break even of 26 going into round one with a projected score of 35, which I honestly reckon is a bit low. And he's gonna make money. It might. I don't even think it'll be a slow burn. All it takes is one big score for his break even to shoot down, and he'll skyrocket in cash. So you lock him in your team.
Yeah, the one thing for me is he is from the Penrith team, so I think that he'll
Mm,
be well trained and a good rookie to have. And the one game he played, he did score 43. You could argue that he's coming from a better team to a weaker team, but I think with making his spot his own and really highly touted prospect, I do think that he'll do really well this year. Isaiah Longy and could be the cash cow of the year.
mm. Moving on into the centers. Our gun center is Zach Lomax. You might think, why not Herbie Farnworth? I prefer Zach Lomax just because I think he'll play center for. I think he'll be playing center for the Eels, and alongside Mitch Moses, he I think he's going to score some big points, and he might not see like the massive high ceiling games like he would on the wing if he scored three tries, but you'll probably see his average shoot up a little bit to 40 to 5 to 55, which the consistency will be there, so that's why I've picked him as our gun.
Who do you think will kick? Will it be Mitch Moses or will it be Lomax off the tee?
Well, even more reason for Lomax if he does kick, but I'd say it'll be Moses.
Yeah,
I'd
because if
say.
Lomax doesn't kick, I'm not as interested. Just couldn't you don't get as many points
Mm,
that I don't really think I'm going to start with a gun center this year. I mean, you could,
yeah,
but I don't really see much value in there. He's at the top of his price. He could drop a bit, and you could pick him up at 600 odd K.
Mid range, we got Isaac Tungo. Bounce back year. We're expecting a bounce back year. Very slow year for his standards last year. A bit injury ridden, but he'll be looking for a bounce back and being, as we said here, on the receiving end of Nathan Cleary is never a bad thing. And being 500k buy round in round 11, I think he can shoot up in price because we've seen him around that 700k mark, and I don't think there's any reason why he can't get near that this year. So I think he's a good player to have.
Yeah, definitely a very good player, and we all know what he can do. I think he had a pretty good season last year, and yeah, I'm on the same boat. Like, he could be a very interesting option. Would go him over Jack
He could
Howard
be.
to maybe start with, just to like, good again, playing
Mm,
next to Cleary. Probably gonna have to do more, but the problem with Isaac is he can go a little bit low, like you can get a 13, and the next game you can get an 80, and it's just like 13 can just kill your week, you know. Like I think,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, probably a bit too much risk for me personally, but let's talk about Jack Bird.
Our cheapy, our cheapy, we've gone Jack Bird, and I know you're a big Tigers fan, mate. So you take this one away. You explain them.
Well, I think Jack, like we all know what he can do when playing it through the forwards, like an edge and lock. I believe he has like an average of 45 throughout his career, and that looks like where he's
I've got it
most
down the bottom.
or
He
50.
averages 54 from 70 minutes at lock. That
That's
like
crazy.
that's insane.
And I mean that's where he's most likely to play for round one. So
Yeah,
I think at that price with that much upside, I think it's a no-brainer because he could be a season-long keeper in the centers, even in the edge. And yeah, you know, you say new club, new opportunity for Jack, but the only thing for Jack is, I think it was time for him to leave the Dragons to want to get an opportunity, but he's a little bit injury prone, which is probably the only con about Jack Bird.
mm, yeah. Next player. Who we got next? Gun half. Yep, Nathan. Oh, Nathan Cleary, 880k. Like, there's really not much to be said. He's still well below. He's gotten past the million mark, so he's well below what he can be. So just lock him in, chuck the captaincy on him, and leave it there every week. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, he's an absolute gun. I think if any of you play BBL Supercoach, he's kind of like the Matt Short, just always pumping
Yeah,
massive, massive scores. And I do think even showing what in BBL Supercoach, if Matt didn't score runs, he was still able to get to the 60s. I think that's just clear. If he doesn't score a try, get a try assist, he still finds a way to get to 60s. But I do think with Luai gone, he does get an increase in kicking meters again too. So could be a
he'll
very
be
good
great.
player and a lot of value in Nathan Cleary, in my opinion.
hmm Mid-range half. I've gone Jerome Luai over Cameron Munster just because Munster's round two bye. But Luai, there's a bit of risk, as you can see in the bottom. Fresh move. He might not fit into the system. And Lachlan Galvin has proven to be a dominant six. So there's things you just have to consider, but he is one of the better halves in the comp when he's on. And I think it's his chance to shine in a Tigers side that isn't at their best. So I think he could be a great option.
Yeah, I think Galvin could take a little bit of the shine away from him. Like when he scored, played at seven for the Panthers, it was kind of just him and the halves. But Galvin's a big kicker, a big runner of the ball, and you see next to
Yeah,
him who played last year was kind of more like I think it was Caesar who played mostly last year was more of a game manager with which Luai isn't. So it could either be really good for Luai or really bad for Luai. So I think you got to wait a couple of weeks on Luai just to see how he blends into that role.
yeah, I'd agree. Cheapy, Sandon Smith, one of the main cheapies this year that I'm looking at. He can really kick it at the top level. 43 average from just one game at 5'8". Not the best sample size, but 38.1 from just seven games at halfback with 0.7 try assists a game. Like for 250k, almost a try assist a game, that's solid, I'd say. Very solid.
Yeah, very good player. I would say the
And
only risk, very small one, but is Sam Walker being back whenever he's back. But I think he's going to have enough weeks to make money to get up to the 400k, for example, and
mm,
then sell him off. So yeah, I do think Sandon very good player and should do very very well here. Average of 40 on a good
yeah, with
Roosters team, and it looked like an improving player. Like
yeah,
it looked like he improved a lot last year than he was the year before. So. all for Sandon Smithen, who's currently sitting in my side.
He's also got a break even of 19 for round one, which is very low. And I'm a big fan of that. All it takes is one 50-point score, and he'll make heaps of money. So just watch this space.
Yeah, he'll definitely be in my team to start with.
Gun edge, David Fafita. Um, Look, there's a few gun edges, but David just he stands out from the pack. Absolute fantasy beast. And I thought when watching him last year, he had a bit of a quiet year and then really picked it up in the back end and still managed to average 60. Like it's incredible how he does it. But
Yeah,
he does have a bye in round one, unfortunately, but you can loop him, which is good. So don't really see a problem.
David accumulates so many points, and I kind of think he's a little bit in that
Mm,
blend of Matt Short where he just gets so many like without scoring a try, for example. But
yeah.
yeah, I think little bit of risk here. I do think he had ankle surgery, so he's in doubt for round one or round
Mm.
two. But I think
He
we
should
all
play. He should play.
yeah, we wouldn't know what Fafita can do, and I do think with Tino back, their team's strengthened, which means Fafita can probably get some better ball here. And if he's got a couple of tries, Fafita's going to go into the 90s. So not much risk involved if he just wants to play. It's all about him wanting to play and being interested, I reckon.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Mid edge, we've gone Jack Howarth. I think he's around 22% owned already, and the app opened about 3 days ago, and averaging 37 at the centers last year, and I expect that to go up. He's just getting into his craft, and I think he could average mid to high 40s, maybe even early to high 40s. But once again, round two bye. But if you have coverage, there's no problem having him in your team. So
Yeah, I think he's a very good player. I do think with um old mate Cam Munster being fit, it will really make the most for Jack just having better half ball to run off, and I think Munster could make a break and Jack could be there. So I would see
mm,
them. So I do see the Storm doing unreal, and I see Jack maybe going up to 550k, and if he can snag a few games at the edge, could even go further up.
yeah, cheapy edge. I've gone Josh Schuster here, even though he's not that cheap. There's just not a heap of like really cheap edges. I don't know if you've had a look, but there's not many. And he's missed the entirety of last year with an injury, and he'll be looking to make a bounce back under Bennett. And I think he's predicted to play 11. That's where I'd put him. And if he can play 11, you can see down the bottom, he averages 47 and a half at his career, peaking at 613k. That's 200k to be made if he does that again. So he's in my team, dual position. Like I don't think you can go too much wrong.
I just think the problem with Josh is we've seen him not really be able to replicate it after the first season, gets injured a lot too, and is he as
Mm,
good as a player? Like he hasn't played footy for almost a year. Like I just think that Josh relies too much on attacking stats too to really have a lot of money to be made there. Personally, I think it's a bit risky.
I don't think you can rule out a player based on being injury prone, but 400k, like maybe he'll lose 30k, but that doesn't mean anything. Like just get rid of him. Like
Are you,
it's
are you, are
there's no
you looking at a
risk.
Fuyaki over him at the same price?
Yeah, I was considering him, you know, 50-50, but I've got Josh Schuster and I like Josh Schuster, so we'll see how
I'll
we go.
pass on that Fuyaki.
All right, gun middle, Isaiah Yo. Um, Look, he's been Mr. Consistent for as long as I remember, averaging 60, I think he's averaged 58 in his career, which is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, he never misses a game, always stays fit, and like uh, as said down the bottom, fixture proof player. He's got actually a tough run of fixtures in the first five, but I can't say it matters. Like he is purely base stats and the occasional attacking stat, but he makes his points off tackles, and it doesn't matter how good the team is, he'll always tackle. So I don't see a problem with him. He's great.
Yeah, he's an incredibly good player. Someone that is currently sitting in my team, and I think is so important for the is so important for the Panthers this year with their weakened forward pack. I
Mm,
expect him to take on even more of a role than usual, and I
yep.
think it really could be his year to like be the most
Hmm.
effective player in the game with the
Oh,
shout.
he's a freak.
Yeah,
We've gone just back to Yo. I've gone him over Haas just because I think Haas battling in injury. Was it? Did he get ankle surgery? Was it?
yeah, I think so.
Um, yeah, battling an injury. He's a bit injury prone, and you won't get that with Yo. Haas, Haas might give you the 80 to 85 point games, but he can be a bit lower as well if he gets injured or doesn't come on the pitch as much. But Yo will always pump out the 60 to 65. So that's why I've picked him,
Yeah, Yo has
just
pretty
because
much played
consistency.
every game in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Never gets injured.
Mid range, Tommy Gilbert. Like Josh Schuster, he's back from injury. He hasn't not played much footy in the last 2 years. And but when he does play footy, he's a workhorse, big fella. 500k is a great price from dual position, averaging 40 from just 60 minutes in his career, with some 17-point games from like 20, 30 minutes. So there are a few outliers in there, but 500k is a great price for him. I'm just not so keen on him due to his injury history. But like I said, you can't rule a player off based off injury. So
Yeah, I just can't get keen
what do you
on him.
reckon?
Hasn't played for 2 years. Is it his third
Yeah.
ACL he's done now? I believe it
Two
is.
or threes, it's a lot.
Yeah, I just can't really. If he was at 300k, I think I'd snag him for sure. But at 500k, probably have to waste a trade on him sometime in the season because he's not probably won't be a keeper and he might get injured. So I just think too much risk on Tom. Maybe give him a week or maybe give him a couple of weeks, maybe a month, just see what happens.
Yeah, he's got some easy fixtures, but he's like 23% owned or something. That's the everyone seems to have him, but we'll see how he goes. Um, our cheapie Royce Hunt, no surprises there, 275k. Moved from the Sharks to the Tigers, and at the Sharks, he was one of their better players, their impact players. He'd just come off the bench, feed hills from Blake Brayley and Nico Hines, and just run over the line. And I don't, I just don't think he snags that starting spot over David Clemmer. What about you? What do you reckon?
No, I think he's in. He's highly talented, and I think a lot of
Mm,
Tigers fans are happy to see him here. And I think David's on the outer, maybe not round one, but definitely throughout the season. And but I do still think with if he comes off the bench at 275k, should get 30 to 35 minutes, which makes him an absolute snag. PPM beast, impact player. I think.
yeah, just have a look at those stats down there. Like, he averages 50 points when he gets over 40 minutes. Like, I'm not saying he'll get over 40 minutes, but if he gets 35 minutes, he'll get you 35 to 40 points. Like, it's mental. He's a shoo-in. Just get him in.
Yeah, he's in the Terrell May breed for PPM. A little bit different of players, but
Yeah,
massive.
gun hooker, Harry Grant, not much to be said. The man himself, he's been I reckon, the best hooker in the last 3, 4 years. And absolute workhorse, he's just a tackling machine, and he does it efficiently as well. Not too many misses for the amount of tackles he makes. And as we've said with the other three Storm players, they do have a round two bye. So if you want Pappenhausen, maybe Howarth and Munster and Grant, you probably have to drop one of them because four is a little bit tricky to deal with. But you could either loop him in round two on his bye or just pick him up in round three. So it's not too hard.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of starting with a gun hooker and big fan of that also being Harry
Mm.
Grant most for the last couple, 2, 3 years I've started with him. I think Harry had a down year, so-called on the fantasy terms of point scoring and that, but I think we all know what Harry can do if he stays fit again. Munster back, I think really helps his scoring, just opens free it up for him. But got a great running game, great tackling game, great kicking game. I think so many positives for Harry Grant for no one to select him. And that it just shores up a position for you being like, oh yeah, I got Harry there all season long.
Yep, yep. Ugh. Mid-range hooker Wade Egan, 553k. I didn't think there were too many mid-range hookers. So I've just chucked Wade in there. Like I said, first slides, he has to step up. The likes of Sean Johnson, Tohu Harris gone, which means the Warriors will need some senior players to fill that role of and just step up overall. So I expect bigger things from him. The only thing is, like a few of the players on this list, he is injury prone. He gets injured regularly, but look, you can't rule him out. And if you don't want the Harry Grant or the Damien Cook, then I reckon he's a great option.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think I can really go with Wade. Don't see him getting enough games on the field. Like he never does. He always does it. Scores 250s. You're like, oh yeah, Wade, 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 and then nah, gets injured in this game after. But that's why his price is always so low. Like if he can put 10, 15 games together, he's going to average a shock. Like he'll have a great amount, big average, 50 plus. But I just think the Warriors won't have a great year this year, and it will really affect Wade's scoring. And again, like we've spoken about a lot of it, but he's got to don't can't select the player that gets that injured that much because it's just wasting so many unnecessary trades. And we know that I like to burn through my trades early on in the season. So I think I just got to
Yep.
hold off on Wade this year.
All right. Next, we've got the cheapy hooker. I've got Peter Mamazoulis, 319k. You could go Moser, but I don't know about you. I much prefer Mamazoulis. I think he'll get much more minutes after Damien Cook has left. So, and look at the top line with an average of 50.3 from just 70 minutes starting hooker. If he starts at hooker, he'll go off, and he could be a genuine cash cow, like one of the better ones in the season. And break even of 24 against a struggling Dolphins side based off last year. I don't see why Mamazoulis can't average about 40 to 50 range. Like
He
he'll
is a
make so
very,
much money.
very scouted player. Like he's been very good when he's played, but I don't see any risk in at Mamazoulis at all. I think there's two strategies you go here with the gun hooker and Harry Grant, or going for a cheaper hooker in Mamazoulis. I'm going with both. I'm having Grant and Mamazoulis. I think Mamazoulis will
Yeah.
make five. We'll get up to 500, 550k. I think at the least, I'd say that is. I think it's one that you just have to start with him round one. You can't wait and watch, wait and watch, wait and
Mm.
watch. Because even if he gets 55 minutes, he probably still averages 35 and still gets 500k, and he's made you over
Yeah.
180k. So I think, yeah, Mama Jules is definitely probably a no-brainer and probably one of the biggest no-brainers on this list.
He's also his only competition is Havili, and he hasn't he's shit. He never plays. Like
I don't think
if his
Wayne
competition was Damien Cook, then maybe he's not an option. But Damien Cook's left. I think he's the main man now.
Wayne doesn't really rate Havili at hooker, I don't believe.
Yeah. Okay. So that should be great for him. And yeah, that's all
Cool.
we got for you today, fellas.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Tell us your thoughts, and yeah, all get around this video once again. Really special thank you for 1.6k in our last
Yeah.
video.
Thank you for the support. That was amazing. We couldn't believe it, but keep it coming. That was great. If you
Yeah,
like the content, just let us know and any questions, we'll answer them as quick as we can. So thank you guys.
yeah, and just tell us your thoughts. We'll have a lot more videos coming out here. Yep, we'll see you in the next one.